Double-sided adhesive tips, tricks, and everything I've learned over the last almost 4 years. So tools, a blade, a razor blade of something because you're going to need to cut it down. Make sure it is sharp. A dusting brush. I prefer a kabuki brush or shave brushes. And then some form of picking tool. I prefer the pick pen. Sharp pointed tweezers are great. And this tool, not my favorite, but some love it. From there, you got to decide if you want to paint your cup or vinyl wrap your cup, whatever you want to do. You also need to see how your tumbler wrap fits around your cup. I'm going to go over both tumbler wraps and decals in this. If you have a tumbler wrap, most people who pre-cut, GlitterPeels, that's what this is, come pre-cut, but there's always a border left around it to size it to your cup because, you know, some cups out there just have that slight difference that needs that little bit of extra spacing. Anyway, once you measure it and you cut down all your sides, the trick I had showed at the beginning there was to peel away the outer border, and it helps give you a perfect straight line to follow. But right there, that's why I showed you to use a sharp blade. From here, if you're going to put it on vinyl, you would lay it out. You could also put it on the vinyl, then do the final trim down or trim twice. I did not use vinyl here. I'm just laying this straight on here. Now, what I had done was pre-peeled back the vinyl or the backing, folded it, and then put it back to do my lineup. But that way it made it easy for when I actually needed to peel it away here to wrap the cup. Now, as you can see, I lined it up, I push in the middle, and I push out to the sides. And then I'm going to do the hinge method where I flip this over, and I actually push from the center outward. I'm sorry if you hear the train because I live near one. However, I'm going to speed this up here again, but that's it. From the middle out, that helps push out as much bubbles as possible. And if you get that liner on the back off just right, you can kind of guide it and only have to pull every so often. Otherwise, your thumbs actually help to push it out and it will be perfectly lined up. But again, you're going to see here why having a sharp blade works. Now, with tumbler wraps, the reason sometimes people put them on vinyl is because if you mess up, you can slightly pull it back. Because if you put it down directly, you try and lift it up, it's not easy. And you will have all of your pieces start buckling. So I don't suggest it. Anyway, picking your base color is also very important. I'm going to show you why here. I have 4 different bases, as well as using some mica. Now, you can use a dark mica to outline and show off the detail of your cut, and then follow it up with either that's just a paper towel, and dark mica makes a mess. But what you can but can't see on this video is that light mica works amazing. It works perfectly because as much as you're not seeing it on the video, in person, it just made all those detail lines appear without getting a dirty, messy area the way the black mica would work. So the mica trick is great to make your detail cuts stand out. And now here I'm going to go with 3 different sets of colors. And I used a metallic, a holographic, and then an iridescent. And as you can see, the iridescents will drastically change depending upon the color. Holographics and metallics give you your best coverage, as well as using fine cut glitters. And mica's work. I'll show later using mica. If you are going to use mica, you want to use mica first. And again, I will show you that in a little bit near the end of this video. But here is all those colors I had tried. Feel free to pause the video and go and look and see the actual way that they changed. But you can see how white especially will differ depending upon the color. And mind you, whites and iridescents, as soon as you put epoxy on, go even more translucent. So as translucent as they may look now, they go even a slight bit more once epoxy is put on top of them. It is suggested as well that you seal with a spray paint before you put your epoxy on. So here I'm showing you that if you're doing a decal or the order in which to pull things to start glittering, if you do that outline first, you can mess up. And right there in the beginning, what I showed you is I didn't notice I picked out those pieces and I didn't mean to. Again, I did the mica trick here, more decals. Warning, if you do this mica trick, the outer border of your design is adhesive. So the coloring will get on there, whatever your first color of choice is. So now I'm showing here that I could pull out, I could weed a decal. There's that train. I could weed a decal right on the material that it comes on. But if you're doing decals, it's highly suggested that you take them off first because they will lift up if you're trying to peel the edge line of them. And if you get glitter underneath that decal, you're going to mess up the adhesive on the back of the decal for it to stick on something else. So that's why we suggest it. You can also, you know, I'm sitting here showing all different ways. You could peel it off. You could then, you know, layer it like you would a piece of vinyl, however you want to put the decal on, but put it on its final surface first, if at all possible, before working on it. But be aware, if you don't, it can lift off its backing very easily. Now, I'm showing you here weeding an outline first. We don't suggest that. Some people like weeding the outline first because it is suggested to go darkest to lightest with your coloring. But sometimes it's harder, as you can see here, and this is 3 times speed right now. It takes a little longer, plus the little inset pieces can fall out while you're working, and it makes it a pain in the butt. Now, I'm going to show you on the next piece that pulling the insets out works much, much faster, typically. Yeah, less likely to lift up your line work or have any issues. And then when it is time to pull up the actual line work, it just comes up as one nice smooth sheet. You'll see that here in a second. And anywhere that there's points can be, pull from a rounded edge into a point. It all depends on the type of point. If it's a rounded edge, it peels nice and easy. If it's pointed edges, those sometimes stick with different designs. And here I also ripped it because I didn't want to peel the whole outline thing of it. But as you can see too, I did the silver and then I did the black. So as long as you have a nice coverage with your glitter and you're really dusting in between 2 colors, you shouldn't have to worry about too much. Black on white will cause a much, there is a chance that the black on white will cause for a little bit of black to be seen, but other colors, typically, if you're rubbing it in good and brushing away good, you're not going to have that problem. And here I'm showing you why the choice of color is huge. You want to use colors that are opposite of each other, or at least have a strong contrast. So if you saw on the first wing, there's 2 shades of pink. It lost all detail because of that. Whereas here I'm using that same pink filler color, but I'm going to use different colors to show the outline, to show how you really want to use contrasting colors next to each other versus any comparable colors or close in. I can't speak here, and I'm doing this all in one record. I can't believe that. Anyway, here's the mica, and showing you why you would want to do the mica first. If you put mica on second, you see how it went over that glitter and it totally, bleh, it went to crap. Do your micas first, then do your glitters, and make sure though you press in those micas good, because if you don't and you put glitter on top and you haven't pressed in enough mica, glitter could stick to the areas where you have put your mica on. So it's suggested to really make sure you press in that mica, and of course do mica first, glitter second. Darkest to lightest is suggested. Insets before outlines, but at the same time, look at your design and go with what's easier, but you can create an entire array of designs with it. Enjoy.